A very short while ago I made this very small auto-sorting infinite storage system. And you guys seem to like it, but you had a lot of ideas as well. And the most requested part was some kind of automatic directory. So now I've added that to the system. It made it bigger, yes, but it also made it more practical, probably in a lot of circumstances. Let's just see here. This is the input chest. Let's just throw in 2 stacks, and you can see it has already taken one item out of this one. It's still a very, very small system for an auto-sorting system that really is infinite because it's relying on minecarts. It is a bit slower, but then again, you don't need to hang around to have it working. If we look here, now this one is in the directory. It means that 1 stack is added to the system. Hello dudes and dudesses, and welcome to this tutorial slash Q&A, because this system behind me, or rather the first one I showed you, has already attracted quite a bit of attention on YouTube and Reddit and Discord. So I will start off by building the system block by block. I hope to explain how it works along with building it, and then in the end of the video I will try to address some of the questions that you have had to the system and possibilities for this system going forward. So let's get into it. Alright, I've started off by putting the hoppers in place, so you will see them like they need to be arranged, and it's a 4 high to ground level like this, and 1 is pointing that way, and if we go down here you can see it goes into the other 2 hoppers and then into the chest. So take a screenshot and build this up. And just to clarify, there's a 9x3 1 deep hole, and this is just to have a nice palette to build on, so we'll just fill this out. That, you know, this is the footprint of the entire system, like so. And let's repeat again that there is 1 pointing that way, and there's 2 pointing into the chest, and there's a 4 high, and there's a 4 that way. It should be pretty easy, and this up here is already our input chest and our directory. So when you're ready, you just build along like this, and I will take it slow. You build up 1 block like this, and you build in the barrel. And this is exactly the same as the original system. I had to turn a few things around, but you can modify the systems you already have. It will still work. And just take a screenshot along the way, and we'll be ready to be building on. So now you just put in some blocks right here, nothing fancy, like this, and 1 more right here, so it's 3 high. And I will be taking it slow, as I said. You have to put your sticky piston here, the only sticky piston in the system, and to be careful not to put it here, because then the system won't work. If you put it there, it will be activated by the wrong button, and that we don't want to have that, and the minecarts can't go. So put it there, and then you take a rail and put it exactly in front of it there. That's the system that will allow us to fill up our infinite storage. And then we have the lever, we put it right there, like so. And again, you can see that's a system that will allow us to put in more minecarts. Then you take a block and put it on the top one right there, and 1 right there, like a stair kind of. And then you take a comparator and put it on the lower one, and a redstone dot and put it on the higher one. And now we are going to be building up a very, very classic redstone clock, an Ethos hopper clock, the best branded and one of the most useful contraptions in the game. You have 2 hoppers pointing into each other, and then you kind of build this shape like so. and you take out that one, and you do exactly the same in the other side. Build the shape down here and then right there. And you probably know an Ethos hopper clock, but it's part of this system. And to reply to some of the questions that has been made on YouTube, yes, it's a hopper clock, and it works as a hopper clock because it does in fact count the items that we put into the system, but it's also an item splitter. So it's used to split the items into one that goes into the directory and 64 that goes down into the system. And now the hopper clock is complete. So now you build up right here some blocks like this and like this, and then you take a comparator and you go over to the chest and have it put right there because it reads when the chest is empty, and we use that comparator to reset the whole system when the chest is empty. Now we need to build out that system that actually resets the system, and we need to have a torch there and a repeater there, and then we put a block right there, and you can see now when the chest is empty, it pushes over the redstone so that every item will be collected in a run back and be collected in this one, ready for a new count. So that will be a good time to put in the 64 needed blocks. Then on the front side, we put a block there, and what we're going to do now is actually test the system because it's ready. So let's just take any random block like 64 of this block, and you can see, it took out one, and that's a directory item, and now it's getting ready to count. It's moving all the 64 blocks over to the one side, and it will release in a second and move the items down here where it will be put into the minecart when we have it. But you can hear it when there it is. And now the items are going into the minecart if it was there. This one is just overload. If for some reason it backs up, because right now as the system is running, it is locked. But if there's a lot of items that somehow backed up in the system, it will go down to the minecart with double speed when the chest is empty. So that is basically the system working. You see, these 63 is in the that's in the storage if there were a minecart, and this one is in the directory. So everything is built correctly. Now we take in any non-stackable items, the cheapest one that you can have, just like in the other system, and you put in a hopper minecart that will actually pull out 5 of these, so it's ready to be used. Now you could do it from this side now, but you can't when it's finished, so we go over here and we put in the minecarts. And again, as I said in the other one, don't put in 1,000 minecarts, it will probably lag out your system. Put in whatever is necessary to start with so that you have room for your items. And now this is going down here, and I've put in some more items just to show you. And this is one of the things that makes the system slower than the original system, because now there's only one hopper. Before it was going at doubled hopper speed. The other thing that makes it slower is that we have to reset the system. But now it's down here like this, you can see it, and you can retract it as well. If we take the hoppers, for instance, and take it out here, I will just show you how the system works, just because if you haven't seen my other video, and it's okay to see it more than once. I don't have a button. This is a temporary button. We push it over here, and you can see it takes it out pretty fast. So these are the items, and as I said, it will always take out 63, but the one that you use is the one from the original stack, so it will always count it correctly. Right, now we need to, this is in response to one of my subs who actually asked, what about stacks of 16? And we cannot really account for stacks of 16. We have to do kind of a manual process. So this is basically, we built up this tower here to make sure that you have some kind of visual indication of when the system is ready to put in another stack of 16, because as it counts to 64, you cannot just put in 2 stacks of 16, because that would only give you one item in the directory. So if you want to put in stacks of 16 and you want to have them counted as stacks of 16, you have to wait for the system to be ready. What you do is you put a comparator there, and then we just need to fill out this. This was the last addition, so I actually have to think. So it's there, and then we just take redstone and put it there, and we take a comparator and put it there. Cool. I actually got to see that I changed that. So let's just rework this. It's just the 2 buttons. You take out this torch and this redstone right here, and you replace it with a comparator. And now the system is ready. So you can take out these blocks. They're not needed anymore, these ones. And now it's basically time to build up whatever you need to have around it or want to have around it. And I'm just going to speed up that because that's just filling in blocks. So just do whatever what you desire with blocks, like so. And you need to have stairs. You don't need to have stairs here, but you need to have stairs here to reach it from the ground. And what I like to do is just to put in some kind of blocks here, and it has to be stairs over the chest, just to make it look more walled off so light isn't getting through as easy. So that's the system done. Well, actually, we just need to put in these blocks as well. That's the system done. Oops, I forgot the buttons. One of the questions that has been raised is, how does it handle stacks that are not stacking to 64 but to 16? And the answer is, it depends on your data discipline. There are actually a couple of ways of doing this. If I take, for instance, ender pearls that stack to 16, you can put in 1 stack, no problem. And you can go away and the system will process it, put it in the minecarts, and eventually it will put down 1 ender pearl here. So you can see that you have a stack of 1 stack of ender pearls, 1 stack of 16. However, it is going to be quite a slow process. See, the reason being that this relies on a timer as well that's counting to 64, and it will be counting to 64 even though you only put in 16. So you will have quite a bit of idle time in the system while it's processing it. You see the light over my shoulder? That light is put there to show you exactly how long the system is processing and when it's ready to process again. Normally, when you put in full stacks, whether you put in 1 or you put in 10, it does not matter. What you need the light for is when you put in stacks of 16, for instance. If you put in 1 stack of 16, and you want to put in another stack and have it counted and end up in the directory, you have to wait till the light is turned on again. Why does it take so long for the light to turn on again? What's happening? I mean, 16 items. Because it is not looking or counting 16 items, it is counting 64, because that's the way the mechanism works. It's set up to actually count 64 items. So even though you chuck in 16 items, the hopper clock in the back will still try to be processing 64, and then it will have to reset to be ready to process 64 more items. So that's why when you put in items that stack to 16, it will be a slow process. That's kind of problematic. But you see, now it should be ready, and we got in another ender pearl right there. But there's another way you can do it. If I just take out a stack here, because right now, if you put in a stack and a stack and a stack one by one, you will actually have the equivalent here of the amount of stacks that you have to 16. You could also use it in another way, where you said, okay, I'm going to put in what's really a stack and wait for it. So if you have a lot, then you will get another one added to this, but it will actually be signifying that there's a full stack of 64. So that's a possibility as well. But in that case, you can also mix it up. I mean, you can mix it up with another item of 64, and it doesn't even have to be, if you do like this, it will still get it right in the system. There will be one ender pearl added to this, meaning there's a stack, and one tree as well. If we're looking ahead and thinking about what could be done to better process items that stack to 16, one thing that comes to mind is that we could add another hopper clock that actually, instead of 64, has 16 items in it, and you can toggle between them. So that's a way to get the correct amount in the for one stack of that item in the directory. It has a downside as well, though, because you still have the manual task of remembering to toggle between the two clocks, and there will also be a challenge in making it work in a tight space. You will have to remove this power right here while adding it somewhere else and stuff like that. But it's doable. I'm quite sure it's doable. Another thing you could do, and I'm telling you this because I'm actually looking forward to see what you guys find out. I think this system has potential for further development and taking it in one direction, using the basic idea, taking it in another direction. Another idea I actually thought about was having a system that, you know, took out the items up here, so it only had 16, and then put them back. But again, it has the same weakness that you still have to do a manual toggle between them. Another kind of system you could think of is something identifying what's coming into it, and that will probably be needing some kind of sequencer before the chest. I have already addressed this in the beginning, I think, but does this item take in multiple stacks? Can it, or do you have to put them in? Yes, it takes in multiple stacks, and you can switch them up as you like. The system is like any other system like this. You can do like this, and that's the whole idea. You can see that it's actually going to be sorting these, and it will get one of each of these items in the directory, just as you would normally expect it to. So that is that's actually what this system does, as long as you put in full stacks. Well, how about half stacks then? How does the system do with half stacks? Putting in half stacks is not a problem, or whatever amount you want that is not a full stack. That will still work and function and go into the system, and eventually there will be one item in the directory, but it won't in that case be signifying that there is a stack in the system. It will be signifying that there is more than 0 and less than 2 stacks. And maybe that's a good way of thinking of this, that each item here signifies that there's a full, one item is that there's a between 0 and 64, and 2 signifies that's at least 64, but and maybe 2 stacks, but you don't know for sure. So that's a way of thinking about it if you don't have the data discipline to actually always put in full stacks up here. What if you only want to use a few items? I mean, you have to take out a stack every time. If we look in the directory and we, for instance, take redstone comparator and we put it in here, put this one back, and you can see that it will quickly gather up a full stack or whatever's in there in the system. But what if you don't need a full stack? Well, the thing is, all you have to do is like take the amount you need and then go up here, chuck it in again, and you're good to go. It will put, you took it out of the directory and it will take it back. But in this case, it again will not be signifying that there is a full stack. It will be signifying that there is more than 0 and less than more than a stack. What's the meaning of life? What about non-stackable items? You can see here, if I were to put a non-stackable item in here, it would take out 1. And since you put in 1 to take out 1, it wouldn't work. So the unstackable items would kind of be stuck in the system with the present menu. We can call this a menu that we have. So it does not at present take unstackable items. Can you take out more than 1 stack of items? Indeed you can. All you have to do is put in the same item in all these 5 slots, and if there's enough items in the system, you will get 5 stacks of 64. Will there be a discrepancy along the way because when you put 1 item in the minecart, then you only take out 63 items? The answer is no, because the item you put in the minecart is already separated from the whole stack when you put it in the system. So one item go in the directory, and that's the one you put in the minecart, and then it pulls out 63 items from the system, so it is always a full stack. What if you want to output things to a shulker box? Actually, the system cannot do that right now. I'm working on making a add-on, yet another add-on to the system, so you'll be able to do this, and I will probably make several add-ons to this along the way, maybe inspired by you like this one is, and maybe you will make add-ons that I will make official as part of the system. I can't wait to see how creative you get out there, because you have some pretty good ideas about it. But at present, no, you cannot directly fill a shulker box in this system. And that about wraps it up. I think that was the questions, most of the questions that you asked me in some way. And with this, I just want to say thank you for the interest. And if you like the video, do leave it a like. It helps the channel. If you're brand new and like this kind of stuff, subscribe, hit that belly button, all that jazz, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Oh, wait. And this actually, as you can see, it is 9 wide, and the reason it's 9 wide is because this is actually developed for my modular base coming up soon, where everything will be modular, even the storage. So look out for that one. See you.